on now to our other big story tonight. It's been 17 years since the Kargil war between India and Pakistan. And as the country commemorates its heroes, it feels like yesterday for those of us who were right there. And especially for the families of our martyrs, it must feel like yesterday every single day. As we honor our heroes, as we honor our soldiers, we ask a deeper question today, beyond anniversaries, beyond commemorations, beyond tributes. Do we really honor our soldiers when there isn't a war, when there isn't a calamity, when there isn't a crisis? Why have we seen so many standoffs recently involving the military, an anxious military community? First the one rank, one pension, the OROP agitation, then the disquiet over the recommendations of the pay commission, then the army's really strong reservation about being used as a proxy for the civil administration, being dragged into internal security. The absence of a national war memorial, something that this government has finally got started on, which we hope to see very soon. Over the last few years, we have seen a number of flashpoints, the rights of disabled soldiers. The list is endless. And on this Kargil war anniversary, this Kargil Vijay Diwas today, we look at what the notion of honor for a soldier really means and really should mean. Let me start by introducing General VP Malik. He's of course former Chief of Army Staff, the man at the helm of that Kargil victory, who said famously, we will fight with what we have, at a time when there were not even snowshoes and night vision devices available for our soldiers in the most impossible war fought on the most impossible terrain and at the most impossible heights. General Malik. We're also joined by Rajiv Chandrasekhar. He's a member of Parliament, and he has been a tireless advocate for the rights of our soldiers on all of these issues that I have mentioned, never ever failing to speak up for them. It is also my privilege to welcome on the program today two families of our martyrs. With me in the studio is Alka Ahuja, wife of the first Kargil martyr, the first hero, squadron leader Ajay Ahuja, whose plane actually went down in Pakistan, who was captured, tortured and then murdered. Meena Nair is joining us as well, mother of Kargil hero Captain Anuj Nair. Her family had to not just lose a son, but then had to fight a long battle to even get the petrol station that was due to them. And we hope to also be joined by GL Batra, the father of Vikram Batra, in a moment from now. Let me start with you, Alka, if I can. 17 years, but it must feel like kal ki baat hai.
Yes, very much. I mean, I don't even think about all this, because if start remembering all this, then my yes, I mean, फिर वो सारी moments मेरी भी खत्म होनी शुरू हो जाती हैं. I mean, I really feel helpless, and I cannot do anything. So I feel that he's still there, and don't think about the past. This is how we survive now.
17 साल हो गए हैं, आप अभी भी ऐसे ही survive करते हैं by holding on to him in the present.
Yes, yes, very much.
You know, and I always feel that the families who get left behind, they're the ones whom we don't understand what they go through. हमारी headline to headline coverage रहती है military community के बारे में, anniversary to anniversary रहती है. वो headlines के बीच में जो जिंदगी जीनी पड़ती है, उसके बारे में कुछ कहें.
It's very difficult, but then we are thankful to the media. I mean, people remember them through you. So, although it's difficult, but it's okay. I mean, Ajay was very fond of his Air Force. He has done his duty, and we are proud of him.
Meena ji, let me bring you in. How do families cope? They cope with knowing that their children were heroes, but young men dying, young men in their 20s being martyred like this, no parent, no wife, no sister can ever really make peace with it. तो क्या आप कहते हैं, अपने आप को कैसे संभालते हैं? Because मुझे मालूम है कि 17 साल एक लंबा ड्यूरेशन है किसी और के लिए, लेकिन आपके लिए, अलका के लिए नहीं है.
हाँ मैम, वो बिल्कुल नहीं है. You know, every moment I feel that my son and my husband is at my back.
Yes.
And now, I would like to say that it is enough now. We should not receive bodies in the flags. Rather, our soldiers should fight and they should fly the flag. And moreover, I would like to say that there should be some, precautions the army and the government should take to comfort the life of soldiers. whosoever they are in Siachen or Kashmir or anywhere in the borders, their life should be made more comfortable. In Kargil, what I feel, there was lot of discrepancies.
Yes.
So our life can never be same, ma'am.
Yes, of course.
We have to, every day is a struggle, every day is a fight. And losing sons is not so easy, ma'am.
How can it be easy? Easy is
It is
easy
very,
is-
very difficult.
Easy
Very,
is
very
not a word that
difficult.
anyone would use, ma'am. Now, I want to just bring in
Because
Rajiv and General
very,
Malik.
very difficult.
Yes, ma'am. General Malik, it's never easy. There's nothing you can actually say to a family that is meaningful, except to say that it was for the country, and Anuj and Ajay were heroes, as was Vikram. But General Malik, why have we been seeing so many issues stacking up? This is the day I want to ask this question, where I sense a kind of anxiety within the military community. It started with OROP. We're still looking at a lot of disquiet over the pay commission recommendations. We are looking at questions as to whether our soldiers are best equipped, whether they have what they need. We are looking at a gap. In a sense, we are looking at resentment. Why should the army be sent to control the Haryana agitation? Something Rajiv has even written about. General Malik, your thoughts today.
Barkha, on this day, I wish I was able to say that you are wrong. But I think you are not wrong. That is a fact. And there is no doubt that in the recent times, the civil-military relations has deteriorated considerably. It has been deteriorating for a very long time, but in the recent years, it has deteriorated considerably. And you have mentioned some of the issues that have come up and that have been discussed in the media as well as with the government. The fact is that today's soldier does not command the kind of respect that he had, and that is causing serious concern. Today, the society, particularly the government, I would say, even more than society, the government is to blame, that whether it is a state government or it is a center, the soldier has no place except in a crisis situation. And I am afraid he is taken for granted. There is no doubt that we have taken oath on the Constitution, and we will continue to perform our duty, whether they are serving soldiers or they are veterans. They will continue to be the most loyal citizens of the country, and they will fight with whatever we have. I can say that even today.
Yes, sir.
But I feel that there is a need for the whole country, particularly the government of India, as well as the state government, to realize that why is the soldier today feeling that he is being let down? Whether it is a question of warrant of precedence, whether it is a question of status in the society, and OROP, while we gave almost whatever was asked for, but so grudgingly. I mean, why did we have to go and protest day in and day out? And 7th Pay Commission, I can tell you that all chiefs, 18 chiefs wrote a letter to the Prime Minister that something needs to be done there, and it was not even acknowledged. So I'm sorry to say that that is a fact what you have mentioned, and the feeling today, I won't want to say anything about the people in uniform, but the veterans definitely feel that all is not well. The civil-military relations are not what they should be.
And that is depressing and very dangerous. And Rajiv, you wrote a very important piece as well, echoing some of the things that General Malik has actually referred to, and also adding one more important point. You've actually said, get the army out of any situation where it's responsible for internal security or for civil administration, or where it gets into conflict with its own citizens. Because what ends up happening is, that they end up carrying the cross for political mistakes, for the failure of politics, and for the failure of administration, and sometimes for the failure of policing. For example, what's happening in Kashmir, it has nothing to do with the army. It is paramilitary and police, whatever is happening. Absolutely. It's a difficult situation. But why should the army be used as a shorthand for that situation? Rajiv?
No, to start with, let me completely agree with what General Malik is saying. there is an increasing sense of disquiet among both serving and veterans, serving officers and the veterans. And it is something that is in my opinion, it is boiling, and we should be very careful that it doesn't spill over. And the reasons for this are becoming increasingly obvious in the public domain. If you look at, for example, the 7th Pay Commission, or things like that, 6th Pay Commission, you look at military deployment in Haryana,
yes,
and you look at all the criticism on AFSPA that the army has to take.
Yes.
I mean, really, AFSPA has nothing to do with the armed forces. It is an abrogation of civilian administration,
yes,
putting the cross on the back of the army and saying, you fix the problem,
yes,
and then expecting them to be answerable under normal law. So there is all of this going on. At the heart of this is what General Malik said, is this stoic devotion to duty that the armed forces represent. And I genuinely believe, and I am not being irresponsible, I have never been irresponsible about issues relating to the armed forces. I genuinely believe there is a group of people in our system that is increasingly taking the armed forces for granted. They take the stoic silence and devotion.
Do you mean bureaucrats or do you mean politicians? Rajiv, do you mean bureaucrats or politicians?
No, I believe it's more to do with bureaucrats, but I will put the blame on politicians for not reversing that, not correcting that. Now, for example, I'll give you an example, Barka, before I let you go to the other panelists.
Yes.
There are 46 anomalies in the 6th Pay Commission relating to the armed forces.
Yes.
The 6th Pay Commission. There are 36 in the 7th Pay Commission.
Yes.
There is a joint memorandum given by the 3 chiefs to the government of India saying these are the requests that we have on behalf of our 1.3 million strong family.
Yes.
There is not one acknowledgement. There is no reasoning given on why some requests of the armed forces are accepted and some are not. I think we as a nation, government, bureaucracy owe it to tell the bravest of the brave, the most important citizens of our country, if they ask for something, why we are saying no. We at least owe it to them to say why no.
Yes, absolutely.
But this silence saying you cannot say anything to us, you are supposed to be disciplined, so we just don't even give you an answer. That is causing a lot of resentment, and I really believe there ought to be some reforms in the relationship between bureaucracy and the armed forces before things get too bad.
I want General Malik to add to that. I just want to also introduce on the panel GL Batra. He's the father of Kargil martyr Vikram Batra, somebody I interviewed at the front line, and I'll show you a photograph, Mr. Batra, that you might enjoy looking at. But General Malik, first just General Malik to come in on what Rajiv has said. General Malik, why is nobody understanding that this is important? That as important as this day of commemoration is, we cannot live anniversary to anniversary, headline to headline, crisis to crisis when it comes to the military. And General Malik, I must also say to you that some of your words on how to handle the Kashmir situation have been the wisest I've ever heard. The fact of the matter is, if we really care about our soldiers, we shouldn't be sending them into solving insurgencies. We should be solving the insurgency politically so that our boys don't have to deal with this. That is my point. If we care about soldiers, solve the problem so that more boys don't die. General Malik.
You know, as far as Kashmir is concerned, what you said earlier is right. I'm surprised that some very senior journalists, they don't know the difference between paramilitary forces and army.
Yes.
And they keep on blaming the army. And I have to correct some people that, look, army is not involved in this fighting that takes place with stones and pellets. And the army has done its job when they eliminated Vani, which was, that is what he deserved.
Yes.
But after that, the army has not been involved in street fighting.
Yes.
But having said that, I go back to what has been said by Rajiv. I totally agree with him. Look, it is, while the bureaucracy, we can blame the bureaucracy, but who is the bureaucracy's boss? These are the politicians. And one of the major reasons is that today no politician or a bureaucrat has sent his children, son or daughter, into the armed forces. I would like to know how many of them are serving in the armed forces. Now, if that is the way our parents are thinking about their children, that is the way our politicians and bureaucracy are thinking as far as the armed forces profession is concerned, what do you expect? They are the first people who have let down the armed forces in the eyes of the society.
Yes.
And I think it's high time that people realize that without the armed forces, your security is in grave danger.
Yes.
And you are not permitting these armed forces personnel, whether they are serving or retired, to have their due share of the governance
and
of their of being in the loop as far as decision making is concerned. You know, these are very serious issues.
Yes.
Today the armed forces, even the chiefs, are not in the proper strategic decision making loop.
Yes.
I mean, this is what is happening, and
Yes.
one day we are going to suffer. But as I said, situation has been deteriorating over the years, and today I personally feel it's a sad situation.
So chiefs not given a voice in the system, military not given a voice in decision making, but also another very important point General Malik making, that how many people among politicians and bureaucrats have children who are in the forces. Well, the three people on your screen today, GL Batra, father of Vikram Batra, Alka Ahuja, wife of Kargil martyr squadron leader Ajay Ahuja, and of course Meena Nair, mother of martyr Captain Anuj Nair, they know what this feels like. GL Batra Sahab, Sunday ko hum mile the. You have written a book on your son Vikram, whom I had the honor of interviewing at the front line. I'll bring up a little photograph now. I found this photograph in my album and I just wanted to share it with you. Can we just bring up this photograph? This is when I actually met Vikram just before he went up for that final assault that would take his life. And what I remember the most about him was his smile. Ye dil mange more, has ke bole, khul ke hase. I mean, he was a zinda dil hero. But for a father to have to write a book on his son.
You see, it was my cherished dream since last so many years.
But dil bhi toota hoga.
Aur dil to toota hai. But we feel that he was such a noble person, he was such a noble man. We feel him always around us, as though he is around us, and he is guiding us and guiding our destiny to, you see, and we feel lucky that such a great son has born to our family.
But you know, Meena Nair, the mother of Anuj, says, "Ab bas karo, no more coming back."
That's also right.
flags.
That's also right. अब बस करो, बिल्कुल उन्होंने सही कहा है. That's very right, because this 17 years has passed after the Kargil and the Vijay Diwas. Still our soldiers are dying in Kashmir daily. So if this thing continues, then I feel that it is a red alert.
Alka, आपने कहा कि आप तो past को block out करती हैं, लेकिन you heard General Malik and Rajiv Chandrasekhar that there is a kind of anxiety in the military community. आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगी कि जब एनिवर्सरी नहीं होती तो क्या सोल्जर्स को कोई याद करता है?
सोल्जर्स को कोई याद करता है, ये तो आई मीन जब कोई, जैसे आपने कहा, इवेंट होता है तब जरूर उनको याद किया जाता है.
जब कोई क्राइसिस होती है,
क्राइसिस, मेनली क्राइसिस के टाइम पर जब कोई क्राइसिस होता है तो वी ऑलवेज सी कि आरबी इज देयर टू हेल्प आउट.
बट नॉट अदरवाइज.
यस. सो
वुड यू वांट योर चिल्ड्रन टू जॉइन द मिलिट्री?
Yes, I have told him. I mean, he is free to choose his profession. I will never stop him.
Would you want him to?
Yes.
You would want him to. Meena ji, you are sitting at a petrol pump that you had to fight for a long time to get. Because मुझे याद है मैंने उस पे report की थी. It was then made into a movie even. You're sitting at that petrol station. For the families that are left behind, the battle is a very lonely one. No? Every day is a battle.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, every day is a struggle. And now after my husband's death, I am looking after the petrol pump. But still I am thankful to the media as well as public also.
Yes.
You know, I get lot of help from the public this side, and they are always with me. And they always call me, you know, after 2-3 months for an honor and everything. So, but still I feel like saying that we should not think of buying, you know, accessories for these soldiers, like these bulletproof jackets and all these things. They should be, you know,
automatic.
We should always be ready for a war-like situation.
Yes, yes.
So
that's
I
a very
always
important
request
point.
like this.
That's a very important point.
Yes,
because
ma'am.
A recent CAG report actually pointed to
very.
gaps in that. Batra Sahab,
Yes.
anything you'd like to say about the morale of, you know, young people today? How do we, you know, we celebrate a Vikram, we celebrate an Ajay, we celebrate an Anuj, but do we celebrate them enough that the military remains an option for young people?
You see, I feel that there are shortcomings. There are shortcomings. what should be done about the soldiers, and the enthusiasm should be created, and people should realize the value, the real value of the forces. They should realize the real value of the forces, and we should curb all such activities which are going on presently in Kashmir. Then only we can do that.
Well, I was saying earlier before you came that someone has to resolve this politically. So I'm, our forces don't have to carry that cross. Last words to Rajiv and General Malik. Rajiv, go ahead. Both of you sharing this disquiet today. It's a depressing thought on Kargil Vijay Diwas. Rajiv, what's the one thing you really want to change urgently?
Yeah. No, I genuinely believe that that the relationship between the government and the armed forces needs a complete relook, and we need to bring in sensitivity. We need to bring in the care and the sensitivity that most Indians feel towards the armed forces. For some strange reason, the only place that you don't see that kind of sensitivity, and instead you see a sort of an apathy, is the government. And I suspect it is because they're misreading this civilian superiority to the armed forces in a very, very literal, distorted way. I think the armed forces are subordinate to the civilian government, but they're not supposed to be treated in a manner that is inconsistent with how the rest of the country feels about them. So I genuinely believe that the government and hopefully the political leadership will take some steps to re-examine and bring in a lot of sensitivity into how the person, it's not about tanks and aeroplanes and bulletproof jackets alone, it's about the man and his family, or the woman and her family.
Absolutely.
That are actually the backbone of our armed forces.
Yeah.
And their sensitive treatment towards them, their aspirations, is what I hope the government would really start looking at.
General Malik, a quick last word. I was really struck by the fact that you said 18 chiefs wrote to the government and to the Prime Minister, I believe, on the pay commission, and there was no response. That to me is worrying. This pay commission, is this a big fault line that has been underreported? I mean, I know I've done one program on it, but maybe not enough.
Yes, it has been underreported. The fact is that this pay commission has once again brought down the status and the positions of our formation commanders, the corps commander, the div commander, and the people who really fight. And that is what is worrying me. And that will show up whenever there is a crisis situation, whether it is internal security or whether we are fighting on the border. Now this thing, as it is affecting the morale of the armed forces, and now you have lowered it further through this pay commission. It is going to affect the efficiency, the work that is in which they are involved. So that is a major issue which has not been set right. In fact, nobody has even bothered to address that issue. And in the Cabinet Secretaries Committee, I had personally, in fact, everybody has said that we should have a member from the armed forces.
Yes.
1/3 of the government service today belongs to the armed forces. I mean, the armed forces personnel in it. And yet, we had members from all other services except from the armed forces.
Yes.
So why this discrimination?
Yeah.
And that is what is worrying me. I do hope that, as Rajiv said, we require a whole lot of reforms. A whole lot of reforms we require. In fact, in the last 2 years, only one good thing that has been done by the government is to go for self-reliance and make sure that we produce our own weapon system. I hope that will start happening. But the other aspect of the armed forces, the way they function, on all that, so far, I'm afraid things have deteriorated, they have not improved at all.
A very sobering thought on Kargil, but maybe this is the day that we can get the country to pay attention and get the politicians and the bureaucrats to pay attention and listen to what Rajiv and General Malik are saying. In the meantime, of course, special thanks to GL Batra, to Alka ji and to Meena ji. Thank you. We remember our soldiers, but we cannot remember them only from headline to headline, anniversary to anniversary, commemoration to commemoration. We need to listen to what Rajiv Chandrasekhar and General Malik are saying carefully, because there is something really serious there that needs to be paid attention to if we do not want disquiet among our veterans and even, as Rajiv says, our serving officers. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow night at 8 p.m.